Why should the teachers be funding their own pay raise when we have the money? When have you ever heard of a state decide to tax the people $500 million when they're sitting on a surplus?
We want our teachers paid well. We believe in our teachers, and we believe in that our greatest asset that Oklahoma has is its children and their education. We're very fortunate that Dr. Coburn has got on board with us and stands with us as we fight this battle to bring House Bill 1010XX to a vote of the people.
I've taught public school. I taught in Virginia and North Carolina. I substitute taught here in Oklahoma. I've seen firsthand where the district has come to me and said, we think you're great. We think you're doing a great job as a teacher, but unfortunately our budget concerns are making us go one teacher down.
What's wrong with us wanting to fight to keep what we have earned and force our legislature to behave in a way that's responsible in taking care of our taxpayer dollars? I have a daughter that's a teacher. I have a son-in-law that will be a teacher. He graduates next year. I have a daughter-in-law, soon-to-be daughter-in-law, that's a teacher.
We have the money to fund the teacher pay raise. And yet we're going back to the people and burdening them.
We don't need to burden the taxpayers further. We just ask that people visit our website, Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite. We've got a number of our interviews, a number of articles that have been written about it. So if anybody's unfamiliar with what's going on, if you're interested in signing the petition, reach out to us. If we don't have a location near you, we'll be happy to make sure that someone gets to you so that you can sign.
Hey guys, this is Moto. I'm here with Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite. We have Tim Harper in from News Now, OKC. We're going to be showing some of his videos and talking about some of his experiences with his citizen journalism and activism in the state of Oklahoma. Tim, thank you for coming in today, buddy. We're glad to have you. What made you want to start doing all this?
Seeing our rights go away every day. They chip away at our rights. Every day something just isn't there that I remember as a child that we had the freedoms to do, and right now we're under attack. I mean, you can't even walk into a city building without and run a camera just to get pictures of the artwork on the wall or the condition of the building, or to speak with someone to see how they treat us without getting accosted or told you don't have the right to do it.
Well, and we were talking about this a little bit before the broadcast. It's not even just necessarily a problem with our government or the people that are in it. It's a sickness within the minds of the people that are being governed, because people don't stop and think critically about their rights as a citizen in a public place. they're representing the government or that building, and so they think they have the authority to just tell you what to do because you're in a public place. But it's 100% backwards from that. They are serving us, and they work for us. If you're in a public place or a building that's owned by the people of Oklahoma, then they need to, it needs to go the other direction. We should be more catered to, and I think, wine and dine when we're in our buildings that we pay for with our tax dollars.
Yeah, slowly we're being indoctrinated, and our rights aren't being taught in school. So if you don't know your rights, it's easy to take them away, and that's what's happening. Everywhere I go, I'm even getting citizens that say you can't film in public. Really? Yeah, it's against the law, and they honestly believe
they
that.
They think that, yes. Some of them elected officials, some of them government employees, and have no law enforcement officers, and have no idea. And I'm not as mad or salty with them as I am concerned for our citizenry, for our country.
Yeah, for our children.
Speaking of which, you guys just went and did some of this citizen journalism activism. You guys were at a park up in Tulsa, is that right?
Yes, I was up there with OKC Audits. He also was with me and was running video. We went to the Gathering Place. It's a 100-acre park that the city of Tulsa owns, and it is being managed and leased by the Kaiser Foundation, which is a private entity. Well, the state law in Oklahoma allows you to carry your legally carried firearm in any city park in the state. In fact, the city cannot make a law against it. It is a preemption in our laws that keep your rights safe. Well, since the Kaiser Foundation leases the property, they feel that they can make their own rules in the property. So, and one of them is no firearms. So we went there and we openly displayed our firearms, and we were instantly, we were kicked out, we were chased, we were really vilified for
being Americans.
Yes, for exercising our right that we have. And it's, in Oklahoma, it's still not a right. We had to get a permit. Now, when the permitless carry was going through, the big argument was we're going to have people running around without permits, without training. Well, I'm trained. I have my permit. And still, it's not good enough for the city of Tulsa.
I heard one of the best things that I've heard said about constitutional carry. I cannot remember the legislator that was there. I'm sure you were working very closely with him. You might have actually been the one filming. I don't know the video that I saw, but one of the Democratic legislators asked him, "You want people to be able to have these weapons without any permit at all?" And he leaned over to the mic and he said, "Ma'am, the Second Amendment is my permit."
Yep.
Mic drop. I was like, yes, thank you very much. We are in the United States of America, and we have a Second Amendment. It's the second one. I think they're in the wrong order. I think it should probably be the Second Amendment first, and then right to free speech after that. Because once you disarm a people, their freedom of speech is coming next.
Yes, that's right. Because 100%. You have no way to defend yourself.
Now, the George Kaiser Family Foundation, they're going to have this park for quite a while, as I understand, right?
100 years.
100 years. So they're leasing the park from the city of Tulsa?
Yes.
Okay. And so for the next 100 years, that's going to be a gun-free zone.
Yes. The Kaiser Foundation originally purchased the property. They held it in trust for a long time. And then I think in 2014 or 2015, they donated it to the city. The city owns it. And then they turned right around and leased it from the city.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and roll some video and see what happens if you try to exercise your Second Amendment rights in the Gathering Place in Tulsa in the next 100 years.
How you doing, sir?
Doing great. Hey.
Hold up. Have you been asked to leave the park?
Why? It's a city park, right?
It is not a city park. It's a private park open to the public.
Doesn't the city own the property?
No,
what about
don't.
this right here? Isn't this city property?
It is not. In the confines of the Gathering Place, this is private property. If they've asked you to leave, you can go secure your weapons. Feel free to come back and come in the park, or you just need to leave.
It's owned by City Park.
City, it is city owned. The city owns this park. It is owned by the city. So it was in 2015, this property was ceded to the city, and it is managed by the Kaisers, but it is city property. So,
okay, so if you've been asked to leave by the park,
I have not.
You have not been asked to leave?
No, sir.
Okay.
I have not. The park has not asked me to leave yet. Nobody has. So, I mean, all right. Well, we'll just keep going down this way then. So, all right.
public.
Barry, you want to let them know?
They said something to you because you got your gun on you?
Yeah, it's a city park. It's allowed, but they want to play that it's a private park, but it's not. It is allowed. State law allows it. State law, you can.
Okay, now I can understand someone like me. For some of you guys that might know me, you know that I don't have a concealed carry permit. I don't believe that I need that. I feel like that's sleeping with the enemy. But you, in your case, you are 100% compliant with the letter of the law.
Yes, I am.
So you're trained, you're licensed, permitted, the whole kit and caboodle, but they still don't want you exercising your Second Amendment right there.
That's correct. And I've also been through law enforcement firearms training in the past. Yet still, I'm not good enough to carry in that city park.
Mm-hmm. But they are. And even those law enforcement officers seemed like they seemed taken aback that they were in a position to have to think critically about your ability to carry a weapon and protect yourself. Remember, I know we call them first responders, but you're your own first responder.
Yes. Yes, I walked around the playground with the handgun displayed, and children were not affected. They didn't seem to be scared. No parents were affected. Only when I encountered one of the park officials did he radio in and cause concern.
Now, actually, I remember a story that Todd Tucker covered on his show not too long ago about a shooting in a park. There was somebody that had come to a family reunion or a block party or a barbecue, and they opened fire, and there was a citizen there that had their weapon and shot and killed them.
That probably happens every day in America.
I think it was in Chicago, wasn't
Yeah.
it, Frosty? Is that right?
What were we talking
That
about?
story we covered the other day, the guy the citizen shot the active shooter at the picnic, the barbecue.
I think that was Chicago.
I think it was too.
I do not remember.
So
that.
presumably maybe they weren't even not affected. Maybe they were safer from you being there.
Yeah, you can Google it. There's citizens that stop mass shootings all the time. It's just not on the news.
Yeah, there's guns save vastly more lives every day than they take, for sure. Well, let's move on a little bit. There's another open carry story we were talking about before the broadcast in Almost Park, Texas. I guess there was a city an ordinance, I guess, similar to this city ordinance with the park.
They had a stupid rule, an ordinance that you couldn't carry around in your rifle. It's legal to open carry rifles in Texas, so they arrested C.J. Grisham and several other people for open carrying with a round in their chamber, and this is the ensuing result.
That sounds an awfully lot like infringement to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, all of these are dead. These are dead.
It's like the game Tulsa's playing with their leased property is now private property game. It's a game they're playing with the law. They're looking for a loophole to keep us from exercising our Second Amendment rights on city property.
Well, and it's really, people think that we're just agitators or trolls, or we just want to get people riled up, as Frosty would say. But that's not the case. We're genuinely concerned with our safety and protection. And here's the deal about having a round in the chamber. If you don't carry a round in the chamber, you might spend the rest of your life racking the slide.
Yeah, if you believe that you can put your seatbelt on before the car wreck happens, you may believe that you need to carry without a round in the chamber.
Right.
It's the same mentality.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess after they arrested these guys for carrying with the rounds in their chambers, there were quite a few people that came out and demonstrated against that. Is that right?
Yes, and it never made the news. If this was an anti-gun rally, it would have made CNN. It would have made all the news rally. But watch this pro-gun rally.
So 750 activists and demonstrators in Almost Park, Texas, carrying their rifles open carry.
Yes, they did, and there was not one incident. It was the safest city in the world at that time.
Yep, absolutely. An armed society is a polite society. Well, we've got some more of your videos here, and our First Amendment is, like I said, I'm of the opinion that they're in the wrong order, and that the right to keep and bear arms is more important than freedom of speech, because if you don't have one, you're not going to get the latter there. But we've got some of your First Amendment. You guys talk about First Amendment auditing.
Yes.
Now, explain a little bit about how you got started in the process of doing these First Amendment audits, and I guess you would kind of call them social experiments almost.
Yeah. I met with Picture Perfect and Okie Audits. They have YouTube channels under those names, and I've now started mine, News Now OKC. I met them at the Hop Jam Festival earlier this year in Tulsa, where it's on city streets. They have a beer festival that you can walk in. It's an open-air beer festival, walk around, and they denied our entry. They wouldn't let us walk onto a city street with our handguns displayed. And we have lots of video on that on their channels. They told us that if we hid the handguns, we could do it. They played the game that they could refuse service to anybody that entered that open-air event.
And I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit concerning to me watching how jumpy some of these officers and security people are when you're just filming. In fact, we had a clip of you at the Oklahoma County Municipal Building we were watching earlier, and you were carrying a holster with no weapon in it, and there was an officer there that was hand on his weapon asking you why you were wearing a holster.
Yeah, because I have to remove my sidearm to go into any county or city business or building. I left my handgun locked up in my car. So yes, I've got an empty holster. And as I was entering the x-ray machine, he noticed a holster. And News Now Patrick said that he grabbed his handgun and was about to shoot me. You'll see this, video.
Well, if we have that one, Frosty, let's go ahead and...
This is
afterwards. They confiscated our cameras.
Okay, all right. So this is outside the Oklahoma
County
after
they detained us and took our cameras, and they wouldn't let me record in the building. This is when I turned my camera on, and this deputy harassed us onto the street. The supervisor had to get involved and separate us.
All right, you guys check this out.
This is Officer Leon. Leave my cell phone, sir. I'm out in public. So, thank you for your professionalism. And it seems like he's got an anger problem, or, I mean...
I'll visit with him. We'll see what we got, going. I want to hear both sides.
Yes.
Anyway.
We've got it on video if you want to see it. That's why we record.
No, he's
cool. He's
cool. Not to go off on you, because he's chasing me down the street.
Okay. Everybody take a deep breath.
Yeah. And I'm totally calm. I'm not irate. The only concern I have, did you see how that he acted?
Yeah,
man. Deputy.
A little upset.
I'd be scared for him to have a gun and actually get upset.
He doesn't listen to you.
Okay. Well,
Who's he going to listen to?
We're going to visit when you and I can sit down. And he and I are going to sit down.
I'm in public.
You are. I'm not asking you to stop.
Yeah.
On Tuesday morning, he's going to call me, and we're going to sit down and we're going to visit. And, like I say, I think we'll have a...
Okay, we're in public.
He's talking to those citizens.
All right, I'll go back to this. I just wanted to come out and visit with you all today.
Now, you can see some of these supervisors and some of the people in charge, like you were talking about the people down at Mike Hunter's office. You had somebody with a brain that walks out and says, hey, calm down, this is way out of control. Now, the reason that a lot of times these situations have to be diffused in the first place, I'm noticing, is there is almost an event horizon when these people trigger. When they ask you to comply or tell you to do something, it can be the most minuscule. It could be remove your hat before you walk into the building. And if you refuse, you're activating some type of authoritarianism in them, and they are determined to subvert your rights.
Yeah, they're used to everybody laying down for them. And when you stand up for your rights and you don't do it, they can't handle it. They can't handle freedom.
Now, I'm glad to see that there are some officers and supervisors and whatnot that you run into, public officials that understand all of these rights. We see some of those videos, the good guys out there that know what they're doing.
Also on my, if you go to the News Now OKC, you'll see the OSBI, how they treated me. They rolled out the red carpet.
Okay, yeah, and so when you go to some of these places, they're aware that you're exercising. They're probably glad to see you exercising those rights. We had somebody. This is my favorite video of yours, by the way. This is at the Connors Building. Is that right? Okay.
Yes, at the complex where the Capitol is, where you pay your taxes.
So this is at the Oklahoma Tax Commission. And we've got a miniature Hitler on our hands here. That because he has a name card, thinks that he is the arbitrary person in charge of what rights you have in a public space that we pay for.
Yeah, this individual is the security manager of that building, but he came out and demanded my ID for being in a public building.
All right, he wanted you to identify yourself. Yeah. He wanted you to stop filming. He tried to tell you that you couldn't film other people in there that are in the public space, some of whom were filming you, and he was saying nothing. Yep. So this is one of the best examples of this authoritarianism trigger I've ever seen.
The video is called Little Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
You make sure you don't go back to the area.
That's right. It is marked.
What are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing, sir?
We're getting video of this building.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not going any further than right here.
You're right. Right here.
That's it.
That's correct. I'm going to get video wherever I can see from this public area.
Who are you?
My name is News Now. OKC.
No, your name is not News Now. What's your name?
Your name's Tommy Marvel.
Yes, it is. Now,
well, they didn't give me a tag, so I don't know my name.
Yes, you do. Either you identify yourself or you're going to leave. Now, which is it?
I don't know. Well, I will eventually leave. I know that. So.
No, you're going to leave now if you don't identify yourself.
All right.
And your name is not News Now.
Well, they didn't give me a tag.
We don't have to give you a tag.
I know, but no one gave me one, so I don't have my name with me.
Show me your driver's license.
No.
Then leave.
We're going to be...
Leave.
Why?
If you're not going to identify yourself as to who you are, you're not staying in here.
Why?
Video.
Is this a public building? Does the public have access to it?
Right here it is. It's not from here on.
Well, there's no... Now, right here, yes.
No, you're not going in there.
I know, that's right. I'm not. I'm just showing you that there's a secured area.
Right.
Don't pass this area. Now, there's bathrooms here that are open to the public.
Yes,
go ahead, ma'am. Excuse me. So we're just in the area. So we are
here. Your name.
Well, that's...
And you're going to identify yourself.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're going to identify yourself to us.
Why? Well, what?
You know who I am. Who are you?
What does my name have to matter with anything?
Because I want to know who you are and what you're doing and what authority you have.
Well, I have all the authority given to me by the Bill of Rights.
What does that have to do with this?
Well, I'm allowed to come into buildings that are public.
But you're
going to get the outside?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, we'll head out.
Videoing people.
All right. Have a good day, sir. Enjoy. Remember, the SS is still hiring. The Gestapo can still use your work.
When did you go to work for them?
Well, I didn't. You did.
No, I don't think I did. And don't you ever accuse me of that again. You understand me?
Why? Or maybe it's Stalin's...
Who do you think you are?
Stalin's Russia.
Who do you think you are?
Mao's China.
Who do you think
they would do this? Well, I'm a free American citizen, and free people can walk around and do stuff like this.
And make accusations against people?
Well, I mean...
And call them names? Is that what you're saying?
When people would walk into government buildings in Nazi Germany...
You have the right to cover me
and they didn't names? I didn't call you name. I just...
Yes, you did.
You know, I'm being treated like I'm a Jew in Nazi Germany.
Oh.
That's what it almost feels like. I can't even walk into a government building, which I pay taxes for, and look around, get video, and audit, and hold my public servants accountable.
Oh, no, you're not, he says. And see, as soon as you pushed back against no, you're not, you could visibly see he was shaken and became unstable immediately. And that last comment, that last Stalinist Hitler comment sent him right over the edge. And all he had to say was, you can't come in here and make accusations. But it looked to me like you were making observations.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he just reacted to what I said. You know, I think he'd have been a good SS officer.
And let's be real clear, because on some of the other videos you were carrying to demonstrate how immediately you're confronted for exercising your Second Amendment rights. You weren't armed in this video.
No, I didn't even have a holster on. It's a state building. We're not allowed to carry in there, so I was just...
So literally the only thing that you had was a camera.
A camera. My cell phone. And what I'm doing with the cell phone, he was concerned. I could have been playing a game. Maybe I wasn't even videotaping.
Oh, that would have been hysterical.
So we've done that before. We will just walk up and we're not even using our cameras, and they trip out.
It's crazy. And so I'm really glad, and it's an honor to have you in, man. I'm really really glad that people are out there doing this, being the bat fly on the system, because this has been going the wrong direction for a long time.
We need to stop it. You can go to YouTube and watch all the First Amendment audits, and it's a movement going on. If you haven't checked it out, do it. News Now Houston, check out his channel, News Now Patrick. OK Audits.
And we're going to be posting some of your videos, because just today, in fact, you had a video get taken off of YouTube while we were prepping for this segment.
Yes.
As a matter of fact.
That's true.
So you can definitely believe that if there's contraband information, if there's dangerous information, we're going to try to get it here at Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite for sure.
Just so everybody knows, as we speak and are filming this, a buddy of mine is at the gathering place in Tulsa, open carrying right now as we speak.
Continuing to fight for our Second
He's running
Amendment
video,
rights.
And that will be coming out tonight.
Excellent. Hey, well, and you know, our little Fuhrer there, he stopped just short of actually probably physically assaulting or trying to take your camera away from you. Like, you could see he was arguing with himself inside about how far can I go here. Now we've got some video of you and a friend of yours at the federal courthouse, and this official, this security personnel, just couldn't contain himself, couldn't manage to stay civil and respect the propriety of personal space, and he actually assaulted your friend.
Yes, he did.
And tried to take his property away.
He did. Yeah, he tried. And this is in the Tulsa federal courthouse. And
again, you guys were just there to exercise your First Amendment, take some video footage, audit the people that you pay for with your tax dollars, and keep them accountable. So if we've got that video, this is pretty insane.
Why are you here filming the building? You're filming a federal building, and they don't like it. You know that. Don't give me that. I told you. Don't start that.
I really don't understand the conflict here. Am I not in America where I can record things?
Give me that stuff. Don't be actually. Just let me know what you're doing. It's all earning that time. I want to know what you're doing.
Hey, don't touch him. Don't you touch me, sir. Back up.
What you doing?
Just out taking pictures. What are you doing, sir?
Trying to see what you're up to.
Just waiting on the sidewalk in America. What are you doing?
Oh, don't start that crap with me. I'm just asking you, why are you here filming the building? You're filming a federal building and they don't like it. You know that.
And the problem is what?
Don't give me that. I told you, don't start that.
I really don't understand the conflict here. Am I not in America where I can record things?
Don't give me that stuff. Don't act stupid. Just let me know.
Currently, you're the one that's earning that title, sir.
I want to know what you're doing.
Don't you touch me. Don't you touch me, sir. Back up.
Go ahead and leave
Give me my personal space, sir.
Go ahead and leave the property.
We're on public
I am on public sidewalk, sir.
Leave the property.
We're on public property.
Go on.
This is public property.
You're on federal property.
Get back in your building where you have authority.
So, that's unhinged right there. I can tell you, you try to snatch my phone out of my hand like that, your nose is going to end up on the side of your head.
Yeah, that was the guy in the background was Picture Perfect. You can go to Picture Perfect on YouTube and watch his. He's got more videos. OK Audits was the guy that agent tried to grab the camera. Go to their channel. You'll see just hours of content like that.
And this is rampant authoritarianism. Now, did you guys file any formal complaint against this gentleman?
Yes, we did, and so far it hadn't gone anywhere. We've been trying to find out if this man's been retrained or admonished or forced into retirement. We don't know. That's a private company that works for the U.S. Marshals to do court security.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, I really, really appreciate that you guys are out there doing it. It is incredible to me that just going to video and document times and places in history can provoke such a reaction from the powers that be. Now, the regular news media doesn't get that kind of reaction out of them, like Fox or News 9. I think you were telling me a story about you happened to be on scene whenever Fox News showed up to do a story somewhere.
Yes, at the McLeod Police Department. On my channel, you'll see how they get preferential treatment over me, an independent journalist. There was an impersonating a police officer report taken in McLeod, Oklahoma. And as I'm leaving, doing my audit of the police department, Fox 25 shows up, and I speak to them, and they're here to do an article on the impersonator. So I follow in because I'd like to do an article on that story. Well, they get right in and they have their interview with the detective, and they're on their way. And so I walk up and I want to have an interview. Well, you'll see on there how they treat me. They tell me that I'm impersonating a journalist. We are all journalists. There is no, you don't have to work for Fox 25 or CNN.
Well, and we're Americans,
yes.
And we're citizens of the state of Oklahoma.
Yes. We need to know this stuff, and I was going to put it out. So the chief of police actually had to run damage control after I left, and she straightened things out for me, and I guess they were counseled afterwards. That's on my channel, News Now OKC on YouTube.
Now, this stuff is people think that we're being alarmists, or that we're being sensationalistic, or that we're maybe capitalizing on a conservative niche that's blowing up right now. Red wave, Frosty. Red wave.
Blue wave.
Yeah, we'll see. It's coming, buddy. We'll talk about it later.
Well, this is where it starts. Yeah. Authoritative government starts small.
And it's so far along that we see some crazy instances like probably could have just as well happened to you at one of these places in Leon Valley. I guess there was an auditor's office.
Yeah, Leon Valley, Texas, outside of San Antonio.
Okay, because they criticize President Trump right now a lot for calling it like it is with the press and telling the American people these are not your friends, they're not playing on your team. But I don't think that President Trump has rounded up a bushel of journalists and thrown them in the pokey yet.
No, that's what they did in Leon Valley. The police chief said we're going to have a news conference at, I assume, 5 p.m. or something like that. And so every news journalist, every independent journalist showed up with a camera, and even people just showed up standing around. And when he came out, he said, arrest them all. And they did. They arrested everybody with a camera. They confiscated their cameras. They even arrested the witnesses and said, we're going to hold you and we want you to make a statement. I know people who still have not received their iPhones back from that incident. And all they wanted to do was film a news conference in Leon Valley, Texas.
Well, and see, people forget all the time. Well, we don't forget. But people that are not as intimately familiar with the necessity of the Second Amendment forget that gun rights are property rights. Mm-hmm. That's property that you own. A camera is property that you own. These are civil rights issues as well as property rights issues.
It's all connected.
Mm-hmm. And we're being demonized for being conservatives and being Second Amendment supporters. And I think one of the worst side effects of this is that you just don't see firearms around like you used to. People used to be a lot more comfortable with them and around them because they were around all the time. They were familiar. Now it feels like they almost even want to keep us from being familiar and competent with firearms in the first place. So we want to talk about, I know you said you were very active in the fight to get constitutional carry pushed through in the state of Oklahoma.
Yes,
and
permitless carry.
And we had an authoritarian dictator governor, Mary Phelan, that vetoed that after it sailed through the House and the Senate.
Yeah, she got bought off. It's obvious.
110%.
Everything pointed that the citizens of Oklahoma wanted it. The legislature passed it. The Senate, the House, everyone passed it, and she vetoes it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because apparently we don't know what we're voting for.
She'll probably be working for OU Regents here soon, or somewhere. You watch where she goes, and you'll know she was paid.
Well, the funniest part about the constitutional carry bill for me is the state of Oklahoma recognizes the constitutional carry rights of people from other states.
Yes.
So if they come here and they're from a state that has constitutional carry, the state of Oklahoma respects their rights more than its own citizens.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a video on that. I'm going to ID, I'm going to have to, but I'm going to have somebody from Arizona or Kansas with me, and they're just going to show their driver's license, and they're going to be open carrying. Watch, we'll even do it with the Highway Patrol. There's nothing they can do. You can open carry without a permit in Oklahoma right now. Just you as an Oklahoma citizen can't.
Well, tell us a little bit about, because OK2A, the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association, is an excellent organization, and it is the go-to place for the fight for the Second Amendment in Oklahoma. Tell us a little bit about OK2A, how long you've been wrapped up with them, and Don Spencer over there and all those guys.
I'm new to the scene on OK2A. I've probably been a member a little under a year, and I got my handgun permit just a little over a year ago, and that's when I started to learn about OK2A and learn the history of our state. For when I grew up, you couldn't carry a handgun, and I wanted to know why, how can we do it now? So I've learned that we as citizens have to fight for our rights. And OK2A is up at the Capitol every day with Don Spencer, fighting for your rights to free up our laws for our Second Amendment. We have a Facebook page, Oklahoma Second Amendment Discussion Group, and Oklahoma Second Amendment Association page, which is the formal page. Go there, read your comments, look at it, join, become a member. If you care about your right to carry, that's the place to go. OK2A passed laws that allow you to store your handgun in your car at your employer's workplace, whether they like it or not. Yes, they can control whether you carry your handgun at work, but they can't tell you can't bring it in your car. OK2A was responsible for that legislation.
Okay, you know, we've seen some good legislation come lately. You were talking about how obvious it is that Mary Fallin got bought off. I was very surprised that she vetoed 1212. She didn't even pocket veto it. She had the huevos to just veto it outright. But she had just passed that that stand your ground law, places of worship.
She did some good things, and Don Spencer wants us to let people know she was not totally against our handgun rights, but for some reason, something behind the scenes caused her to veto permitless carry because it was the will of the people. And I went to the governor's office many times when they were calling in. People were calling in stating yes or no for her to consider. On the last 2 days I showed up there and I watched the secretaries. They were giving you lip service. They were no longer taking votes, taking tally. They had already made their mind up, and I saw the paperwork that they had. We that were pro Second Amendment, pro permitless carry, were outnumbering those against it 3-1 when they stopped taking their calls, when they stopped documenting it.
So what's next for News Now OKC? What do you guys have coming up? What can we help get behind? What can we publicize? What's on the horizon for you guys?
We are going to still hit some more city and county and government agencies. We're going to have News Now Houston come up, who has 100,000 followers on YouTube, and he's very good at what he does. He's coming up, and we're going to hit some more locations here in town. The new marijuana coalition, or the agency that's over it, I don't know the name of it. We're going to be paying them a visit.
Okay. They do their meetings on Wednesday?
Well, they have an office. You go in there and you file your paperwork to become a grower or a distributor.
And I think they do open meetings to the public weekly now, don't they?
They may. I don't know about that.
I think so. I think John Eccles came on, and they put him in charge of that. So, well, we would love to have, when News Now Houston comes up, we would love to have them in. You guys come back in and tell us some more about what's going on and give us some more videos. Tim, thank you so much for coming in today, man. I do, before we get out of here, I want to let you guys know we have the OTU Media Patreon page up. If you want to contribute and you want to help us continue this fight for the taxpayers of Oklahoma and accountability in our government, then go to www.patreon.com/otumedia.com, become a contributor and help us out. All right, guys, thank you guys very much. Again, Tim, thank you for coming in. We'll have you in again real soon.
And I'd like to say this real quick. I am carrying 2 items with me right here. One is my handgun, one is my camera. And I'll tell you what, a bad cop, he fears this more than my handgun. Everybody get out there, videotape your police and your government officials with a camera, put it on YouTube.
And then send it to Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite, and it might get reposted on our page, just like some of Tim's videos have lately. All right, thank you guys. Let's roll the disclaimer one more time, Frosty. Since we cover a lot of ground here, the views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily the views of OTU, its board, or its partners. All right, thanks, guys. Stay motivated. We are winning.